If you're planning to visit the Parthenon, watch this video first. Most visitors come to Athens, see the Acropolis, take a few photos, and move on. But after spending time here, I realized there are a few things that can make a huge difference in how you experience the city. Join me as I hike up Filopappou Hill, one of the best viewpoints in Athens, with an incredible view of the Parthenon. Along the way, I'll share everything I wish I knew before visiting, from how to make the most of the Acropolis and Acropolis Museum, to getting around the city, using public transportation, communicating with locals, and even some amazing day trips beyond Athens. By the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to make the most of your time in the Greek capital. Let's get started. Welcome to another day in Athens. All right, so today we are visiting Filopappou Hill, which is one of the best viewpoints of the Acropolis that you can get. So you climb up this hill. It's located right near the Acropolis. Right now we're starting our ascent. You can see behind me, that's the entrance. And apparently it's supposed to be a pretty easy climb. And on this hill there are several smaller hills, I guess. There's a monument to Filopappou himself, Julius Filopappou, who was a commander in the Roman times, but he was Greek, so that's who the hill is named after. Let me show you the steps here. Pretty gentle ascent so far. Trying to find, so the place I'm trying to find first is called the Pnyx. Okay, Socrates Prison. So Socrates Prison. I actually read about this place as well, so we are gonna head over there. So apparently this was the place that was believed to be Socrates' prison, but from my understanding, it turned out actually to be false. But it was a storage place, a hiding place for ancient Greek artifacts, where the Greeks hid it to safekeep them against the Nazis who invaded Greece after World War II. So, yep, I think that's worth visiting. Oh, and that is right up here. Okay, so also in this video, guys, I'm going to tell you guys about Athens, what to do, what not to do in Athens, and especially visiting the Acropolis. Okay, so it's kind of based off of my experience here, but I think, yeah, there are bits of information that would be good for you guys to know about Greece and Athens in general. So this is where they stored the precious Greek artifacts from the Acropolis during the invasion. And so, apparently they covered this up with some kind of wall or something like that, some kind of artificial wall. You can see in there, it's like actually extends back, so there's plenty of space to, I guess, to keep the artifacts. Yeah, so that was actually right next to the entrance, so barely have to, climb to get to this place. And I guess I see why they hid the stuff from the Acropolis here, because it's right next to it. They didn't have to bring it far. One thing about Athens as well, right now is September, and I consider this is a pretty good month to visit. May and September are the shoulder months, even maybe October, because Greece gets super hot in July and August, and that's when the crowds are at their peak as well. So, yeah. So if you can, definitely visit, September, May, and that kind of time frame, even April, October, that kind of time frame. We are continuing our ascent on the hill, and I was going to tell you about the Acropolis. Okay, so something that I really think you should do when you visit Acropolis is the question is whether you visit the museum first and then Acropolis later, or the Acropolis first and then the museum. Okay, and I would recommend you to do it over, well, I did it in 2 days. I guess you could do it in 1 day, but it is pretty tiring, especially if you've got the combined ticket. So that's another thing. When you visit Acropolis, you can get your ticket online, and you can either get a ticket just for Acropolis itself, or you can get a combined ticket, which gives you access to 6 sites, which is actually it's a pretty good deal, and that cost me 30 euros. So So for 30 euros, and then I think they give you 5 days to visit them, which is plenty of time. If you're going to visit all those six sites, sorry, then yeah, again, you might want to, for example, one day you do the Acropolis, you do the Roman Agora and ancient Agora, and that's a lot of walking already. So wouldn't be a bad idea, I guess, to then do the museum in the afternoon, so more air conditioning and things like that, and then do the remaining sites the next day. So however you want to do it. My recommendation is to do the museum before the Acropolis. Why? Because so the museum has a lot of information about the Acropolis. So unless you like remember your Greek history from grade school, or you're just a specialist in Greek history, then you definitely need a refresher. I think most people need a refresher, or just like get educated about Greek history and the Acropolis itself. And so I spent about 5 hours in the museum, and you can spend less or you can spend more, but it really educates you about things that you are going to see at the Acropolis. And so you already come out with an understanding of basically what you're going to see there. Yeah, so for me, when I got to the Acropolis the next day, it was like super, efficient, okay? And I got there right when it opened at 8 a.m. So I think that's recommended. Most blogs that you're going to see are going to recommend that you go when it opens. Now there's another option to go around 5 or 6, and the crowds are also supposed to be less during that time as well. So you can do either one. When I got there at 7:30, and there was already a line forming, and there are going to be people. But it was definitely fewer than, say, like 8:30 or 9. Especially if you want to really get in early and try to get a photo of the Acropolis without people in it and things like that. And you don't have to stop and read all the signs. Which really slows you down and really increases your efficiency. So for me, it really helped to go to the museum before going to Acropolis, which is what I would recommend. Money in Greece, they use the euro. It's in the European Union, so cash is optional. You don't have to take out too much cash, although I would recommend that you still take out a bit of cash when you get to the airport, okay? Or you can wait till you get to the city center. There are ATMs there as well. I took out 50 euros just because you never know. You never know when you'll need it. When I took a cab, like I said, when I almost got stranded in Ammonia the other day, which again, if you missed that, go to my other video. But yeah, so, I was trying to pay by card. It was like 4 euros. And the guy took out his cell phone and tried to swipe my card through that, which, didn't work. So yeah, it kind of saved my ass that I had some euros on me. Pretty much everywhere should accept card, even if you're buying a bottle of water for 50 euros, which, by the way, is the standard amount of money. Standard price for a small bottle of water here is 50 euros. Large bottle of water, 1.5 liters, is 1 euro. And that's actually the law. So if anyone charges you more, you can actually call the police on them. So definitely do that. Always have water at all times. Always stay hydrated, because this heat is no joke. It's dry heat, so it's like a chaparral type of climate. If you've been to Southern California, you'll know what I'm talking about, which I like. I like more than humidity, but yeah, definitely important to stay hydrated. Also, the tap water is potable here, so you can drink the tap water, no problem. They do have fountains here and there as well throughout the city. Obviously, the only ones I've seen really are kind of near the tourist sites. But yeah, you can get water from your tap and drink it, no problem. talked about transportation a little bit. Again, my recommendation is to use the metro. It is the most convenient way to get around. There are 3 lines that pretty much take you everywhere. They take you to the Acropolis, take you to the ferry ports. If you're looking to go to islands, they take you to the airport. So yeah, definitely recommend that. Getting a ticket for about €8.50 the last 5 days. Places to stay. You know, obviously the touristic area is going to be near the area around the Acropolis. There's Monastiriki Square. You know, and all the streets around there are really touristic. You know, prices are going to be a little higher, but yeah, that's kind of, I guess, to be expected. Obviously, if you want to stay outside of that, there are areas to stay. Some sketchier than others. If you're staying in Ammonia, there are budget hotels there. But if you saw my other video, I'm not sure if you know, if you were considering a place over there, if that changed your mind. So, but yeah, this is super nice. There's some like trails here interspersed, and you know, getting a really good view of the Acropolis here. So, all right, so let me take a look. Okay, so as far as like communicating with people, most people at least below a certain age do speak English, so you'll be fine communicating with pretty much all young people, everyone under the age of like 30, you know, between 30 and 45. I think you pretty much also, you know, most people do speak English. The skill level may be kind of hit or miss. And then maybe, I think people over like 45 or 50, it's a bit more of a crapshoot. But yeah, people working like, you know, tourism and shops and, you know, things like that. I think you'll be able to communicate, no problem. Yep, really nice view of the Parthenon. Really nice view of the Parthenon there. I think this might be it. Let me go check out that sign a little bit. Now, okay, let me talk about seeing sites outside of Athens. So Athens is a really good jumping off point if you're planning to see other sites like Mycenae. If you've heard of Mycenae, it's the ancient civilization that existed before the classical Greek civilization. So I don't know if you've heard about the Lion's Gate and everything like that, but that was the thing that stands out most from their site. Okay, so they're the ones that made walls out of giant rocks called Cyclopean rocks, named after the giants, the Cyclopes. Then there's Nafplio. Nafplio is a really charming town that both Greeks and the foreigners go on vacation. So, wow. All right, so this is the monument to Filopappou. So Nafplio is also in the Peloponnese Peninsula, just like Mycenae. And then the other site that is in that same region is Epidaurus, so which has an amazing ancient theater. So yeah, you can take a tour from Athens that will take you to all those 3 spots in one day. And your other option is to go by yourself. So you can rent a car. So again, you can do that in one tour, which will cost you between anywhere from like 45-ish, 50 euros to, you know, 60, 65 or above, you know, depending on what company you choose, etc. And there's an app called getyourguide.com or Get Your Guide that I used. And yeah, it worked out really well. The guys were really professional. They're actually archaeologists. They were able to really give us some good info on ancient Greece and the sites. And then the other tour I did was Delphi. Okay, so Delphi was an ancient ancient sanctuary, I should say. One of the most famous sanctuary of the ancient world, where people went to to consult the oracle. And Temple Apollo is there and everything. And then same thing, you can either take a tour there or you can go there by yourself. What would I recommend if you're short on time and you want to save money, you know, while seeing the sights, but maybe you're not like, you know, a giant history buff, so you don't need like 2 hours at each site, then I would recommend you do a tour, because it really does simplify the process and makes things more efficient, you know. Do that all done in one day, you know, to find housing over there and everything. But if you want more freedom, you know, you want to spend as much time as you want at the sites. Also, you want to check out the towns that you're going to be in, for example, like Napflio and things like that. You just want to like, spend time there, then yes, I would recommend that you rent a car, which appears to be pretty affordable. I was looking at prices, you know, I think they start at like maybe around 50 euros a day or something like that. Also, you want to make sure you can drive stick, because the automatic cars are more expensive here. There are also two viewpoints. Two of the most popular viewpoints of the Acropolis are this one, the Pnyx, the Filopappou Hill, and the other one is called Lycabettus Hill. And the other one actually has a cable car that can take you up to the top, to the summit. And I went there the other day to catch sunset, and it was amazing. It was 100% recommended. So it is going to be pretty crowded. You know, right now September was pretty crowded already. So yeah, just imagine, you know, July or August. But those are the two options that you have. You can come here at sunset and watch the sunset over the Acropolis. But yeah, it's just beautiful, 100% recommended.